Okay. So if it was Oliver, he'd be screaming instead of happily playing along. Okay, so I guess for anybody who's watching this, first off, this is what we do for hypnotherapy, but I would normally never agree to doing this on video. Reason being is it's a very personal process. So as long as Savannah agrees, since this was your idea, to have your personal intake put out there, it's totally cool with me, as long as you can say you agree to doing this and it was your idea.
It was my idea 100%.
Okay. And excuse the renovation, half-painted wall.
I didn't even notice you pointed it out.
I noticed it as soon as the screen came up. It's like, it's in my face that my husband will not move his computer so that I can paint that wall. It's driving me crazy. Okay, so what is it that, well, and I guess also noted that I've worked with Savannah since I'm her coach and hypnotherapist, that I know a lot of her personal information. So a lot of this isn't going to be, a lot of things that would normally be covered in an intake are not being covered right now. So little side note there. Okay, so Savannah, what are you here for today? Like, what is it that you want to work on?
I think I've got some money blocks.
Money blocks. Ooh. Okay. Why do you say that?
Because in my business, everything grows exceptionally, except for the money thing, and it's got to be something that I'm doing.
Why do you think it's something you're doing?
Because I believe in mental blocks keeping you from creating your ideal reality, and my ideal reality involves more money than what I'm making, so it must be something in my head that's keeping me from creating this.
Okay, so you said there must be some mental blocks. Okay, I want to talk more about that. So around the subject of money, say you have a mental block, what would
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
No.
Still no?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So around money, you say it's a mental block, correct? So what would that sound like if you were to voice that mental block around money? What would it sound like?
I think it's my unwillingness to spend money on things is creating the same thing back to me, because like attracts like. So my unwillingness to want to pay for ads or I don't know, other stuff to get my reach out there.
Do you feel
Which
like
I'm looking for, but
do you feel like that's the only way you can make money is by spending money on ads, advertisement?
no, up until recently, I was totally 100% convinced that you don't have to spend money to make money.
So what changed that?
I'm not making money. So obviously something's wrong.
I'm taking notes for anybody. Okay, so did anything change in your business that made you feel like that shift had, where you shifted your mental state, that went from I didn't need to spend the money and I was comfortable to I'm not making any money now, so I therefore feel like I have a money block because I'm not spending money? What part of your business changed, or what changed in you that made that transition from one side to the other?
Nothing really. I think it's just a matter of my impatience towards it, because but then you get into thinking, okay, I feel like sometimes these things just take time, but is it a fact that these things sometimes take time, or is it a false belief that sometimes these things take time that leave me trapped in the reality of that sometimes these things take time?
What do you think it is? Do you think it's a fact, or
I can see it from both angles. I can see as I can see it being sometimes these things take time being true, and then I can also see it as a false belief that's holding me back from uh, making this breakthrough or getting through this wall that I feel like is there. Does that make sense? Is that good?
Yeah, it makes sense. Something that a word that you just said, breakthrough. That sounds like a big thing. That sounds like something, when you're reaching for something really huge, it seems like a big deal. And so it seems like it's harder to obtain, right? Breakthrough makes it sound like what you're trying to achieve is a huge feat.
It kind of is, though. Like, as soon as it happens, like, my whole life will change.
How would it change your life?
Well, let me think for a second. Because, I understand the whole create your reality now into what you want it to be later, right? So we envision what we want our life to look like in, 5 years or whatever. Okay, in this case, what do I want my life to look like when all this happens? And honestly, like, it wouldn't look any different except for I'd be able to pay my babysitter more and maybe get her over here a couple of more days, maybe. And then I would be able to pay on some debt. So pay more towards my bills, maybe get some vehicles paid off or something. So it really wouldn't change like a whole lot, but it would get me a step closer to my overall goal, which is to retire my husband.
Okay.
You figured it out. What is it?
Okay. So you're saying there's really not that much that would change if money was in the picture more than it is now.
Right.
Do you need those extra days from your babysitter, or is that just for fun?
Say that again. You broke out.
Your babysitter. You said you would be able to have her over more days, or you'd be able to pay her more. What would that change?
I'd be able to get more work done, and I would be happier because I would have more time to do things, and I wouldn't feel pressured to try to get everything done all of the time with, juggling being a mom and having a business.
Are there any other options you could do besides a babysitter that would take that weight off without money changing?
I don't think so. I've thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and that's really the only thing.
Have you looked into, obviously daycare is extremely expensive compared to an individual babysitter. Have you looked at MMO programs, the Mother's Morning Out?
I have not.
They're only 4 hours a day. I think it's like 12, I think it's $50 a month for like 1 day a month. That's just average. I mean, every one of them varies, but it's a lot cheaper than daycare. Have you looked into one of those programs or thought about maybe doing that once or twice a week?
I haven't.
On top of a babysitter?
I haven't.
Do you think that would be an option?
I don't know. I'm kind of afraid because, since you know me, you know how my anxiety gets up when I drive places and stuff, and I really don't like to do that unless I absolutely have to. Plus, kind of like it takes time out of my day to drive somewhere, whereas I don't know. I feel like I'm just making excuses. I don't know.
Well, okay.
I don't go nowhere.
Okay, well then with your babysitter right now, is there something you can work out with her to take on an extra day, or something you can work out with her to make it more lenient on you and still work?
I probably could, but I don't feel comfortable doing it because I'm already way underpaying her, and I want her to have a life and stuff. And because it's my sister, and I feel like she's young and she should be out there having fun and enjoying her life and not hanging out here with me watching my kid while I get some things done. I mean, paying her or not. If I paid her more, then I wouldn't feel bad about it. But at the rate I'm paying her right now, I don't like it as it is.
Okay, so it's more of your discomfort with the situation. Does she feel that way?
If she did, she'd never tell me.
Well, maybe have you thought about asking her and talking to her and seeing where she's at with, the money versus the hours she's sitting with Rowan, being that she's family, how she feels about that, and seeing, if that could change sooner down the road than later, and maybe being able to work something out with her so that you're comfortable with where she's at, babysitting and the pay, and she's comfortable with how many hours she's watching them. Don't know if you can't talk to her about it, so maybe you could talk to her and see where that goes.
I can look into it.
Okay.
I also like to talk to my grandmother about maybe taking it in.
That would be a good option. I know your grandmother absolutely loves them.
Yeah.
Takes a long time anyways, right? So.
Yeah, so what's the difference between how she already takes them sometimes, and can we just schedule a specific time that you're going to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even for an hour or two.
Yeah.
You can get a lot done in that amount of time without a baby. Okay. So, you would want to pay more on your debt.
Mm-hmm.
So, around money, do you feel like debt right now is an issue for you?
An issue? No. I just don't like having it.
Okay, so then you're comfortable as far as how you're paying things, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that didn't change, it wouldn't affect you in any way other than having a little bit more cushion, a little bit more comfort.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the retiring of the husband sounded more
dire.
Yes. So as far as your husband goes, you want to retire him. What does that mean?
Bring him home full time with me and Rowan.
Is that something he wants to do?
Say it again, you broke out.
Is that something he wants to do?
Well, he hates his job and it's very dangerous, and he complains about it all the time, which breaks my heart. And that's probably what it is. Like, I'll get okay with how things are moving along, and then he complains about it. And it's not like any kind of specific complaining or trying to get me to hurry up and be able to retire him or anything like that. It just makes me feel like I know that I can get him home. It's just a matter of time. So it makes me put pressure on myself to hurry up and do it. I don't know if he'd want to stay home 24/7. He probably would for a little bit at least. He might want to get out and do something eventually, but he'd have the choice to be able to do what he wants instead of what he feels like he has to do to take care of us.
Do you not feel that he could start doing that now, as far as looking for other options while he's working? Like sending in resumes to new places while he's home or something like that? Or do you feel that, huh?
He won't do it.
He won't do it? Why not?
No. Because, he feels stuck like everybody else does. He feels like that's his only option and that he's not going to find anything better than what he does now, even though, like, better is relative. I consider better as what makes you happier or what makes you happier, what you enjoy doing. He considers better as just like most other people do, how much it pays and how good are the benefits, which in this case, pretty good. So he's not going to he feels like he can't find anything that's the same amount of pay and benefits that makes him happier. Plus, it's probably just, it's easier to keep doing what he's doing instead of going out and finding something else and doing something else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of people's problems today. It's hard to change. Have you thought about maybe bringing him, hey, there's this opening, say you find a job somewhere or somebody that's hiring for something similar that might be just nice to have a change. Have you thought about showing him some other options instead of just telling him, hey, maybe you should look for other options?
No, because I want him to come to the idea of himself that he wants to find something better and he wants to do something better, because you can only help somebody if they want to be helped, and he doesn't really want to be helped. He, he's a man just like any other, I guess. Well, I'm not going to say that. There are some men that are different, whatever. I'm not going to fall into that whole all men are the same type thing. But, he wants it to be his idea, and he wants it to. Plus, that would take a lot of time and a lot of research that I just really don't have. And, it's a matter of making the time, and I'm not willing to make the time for that, because I got other things that are more important in my world.
Yeah. Well, do you just kind of put it out there every once in a while? Maybe just saying, hey, have you thought about looking? Or, hey, have you thought about something else you'd like to do? Just kind of get him thinking, maybe, so that even though he may not show it, it's planted the seed of thought.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Okay. So if he doesn't retire, how do you feel he should? Do you feel like that would change anything anyways? I mean, how do you think that would work?
Break it up again.
Am I?
Yeah. I think it's your internet this morning, because we were having some issues too earlier.
Hold on, I'm looking. I have full signal, but yes, I would switch over to our other connection, but I have a feeling that would obviously...
It would cut us off.
Yeah, so I'll mess with it after we get off.
That's fine.
Okay, so... I'm writing notes, and so if you could change anything today, what would that be? Do you feel like there's anything you can do today that would change the way you feel about money and the blocks that you're having?
I could sign a client. You mean something that, like, I almost said something that's in my power, but I don't want to say that signing a client is not in my power. Tough one, huh?
Not a tough one. I'm trying to think of a way to approach it that may feel a little different than what you're used to, because since you're a coach, you understand how to work around things. So I'm trying to think on what would be the best way, or maybe another approach.
I was looking at yesterday. I heard that the vast majority of rich people don't spend much time on social media. Like, they tend to, there tends to be like a graph per se, and the richer people are, the more money they have, the less time they spend on social media. So I was thinking, if those are the types of people I want to market to, how do I market to them? It's not through social media, and that's the only way I know how to market. So, how else would I market? How do it?
Word of mouth.
What?
Word of mouth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I can really come up with too, unless I figure out a way to get on CNN or Fox News.
But does that feel like a big jump from one to another?
You broke up again.
Does that feel like a big jump from one to another?
What part?
Well, obviously you're saying you want clients that are rich people. is what it sounded like, right?
Yeah.
Does that feel like a big jump for you?
No.
No?
No.
Does that seem to be around the money issue, or does that seem to be a different aspect of your business?
It probably is the money issue, because all of the great potential clients I've had, every one of them have money issues of themselves. and blocks towards it, and having a hard time working around it with folks because, you know, something like that is kind of a little bit of a process, and you can't just solve it overnight because, you know, it's a big thing to solve. And so I'm not being able to, like, I almost feel like I should lead into the conversation with, do you have any money blocks? Let's fix those during this session instead of trying to fix, you know, the other stuff we got going on. Because that's what's going to lead us further, but I can't get us further until, you know, they hire me, because, you know, there's no career in that, doing things for free and whatnot.
Well,
To an
you just
extent, yeah, but
you said it was
it.
a big thing.
Say it again.
You just said it was a big thing. So it does feel like a big jump. Well, do you feel like maybe that since money seems to be such an issue for you now, that you're maybe attracting clients who are obviously having the same money issues and blocks that you are?
Touche.
Okay, so if you were to give me a statement right now about how you feel about money and your business, what would it say? What would you say?
I have no idea.
I feel like it evades me. I feel like
Okay, I feel like it's just out of my reach. Barely out of my grasp. Like I'm reaching and it's like at the tip of my fingertips.
okay.
And no matter how much I jump and grab, and it just keeps like.
Okay. So let's kind of work your way up that, because it feels like it's so close but yet so far away. So
Yeah.
if you were to change that to feel a little bit more comfortable when you say it, what would that sound like? It just has to give you a little bit of relief when you say it from what you just said.
It's just out of my reach, but I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna get it. It's just a matter of when am I gonna grab it.
Oh, that didn't sound like relief, did it?
Do it.
Did that sound like relief? That last part you put on there?
I don't know. I'm gonna grab it. I know exactly how to grab it. No, wait, I just lied. I feel like I should know. I feel like I should know how to grab it. It's just at the tip of my fingertips. It'll happen soon.
Okay, well, how does... I don't have to figure it all out right now. Does that sound like relief?
Yeah, I guess so. I should focus on, and I keep telling myself, I know that. I know all that. I keep telling myself to just focus on the fun parts and focus on what all is going good. But I guess money is just such a huge aspect of who I am and stuff. Like it sticks right there. And like, no matter how focused I get on other things, like it never fully leaves my mind. It's like got itself, it's burrowed right there, and that's its spot, and it just sits right there.
Okay. So something you just said, it's such a big aspect of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've known you and worked with you, money has never been a problem. Money has never been one of your big things.
It's not a problem.
But
I like it.
Yes. But
I'm good with it.
can you see the contradiction in when we've normally talked, money has never been a thing for you. You're very comfortable where you're at as far as money has not been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's such a big thing. So your outlook on money has shifted, but nothing physical has changed. Is that right? Like you still have the same bills. You still have the same revolving debt. The only thing that has changed is your thoughts around money since I've known you. It went from, I don't really care much about money because it's not a big thing to me. So now it's a big thing.
Oh, no, it's never been not a big thing. I just didn't talk about it before because I was comfortable with the situation, and the situation was what it was because I was still trying to figure everything out with my business. And I feel now that I have everything figured out that I should be past this point of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But if you've worked everything out, okay, so you've worked everything out, but it's not finished. Or else money would be in place too. So that's still a work in progress in your business, just like everything else you figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, your business is still not finished. Well, it never will be, right?
No, never will be.
Yeah. So your work in progress, you say you've got everything lined up and ready. But if you look at it from that perspective, you don't have it finished and you never will be. So money is something that's always going to be there. So shifting the way you look at it again from how it was and kind of take some of the pressure off of money. Again, it's obviously, since it's a block, maybe changing the way you look at it and the way you feel about it is the only thing you can do right now. Well, because, and the reason, obviously, I talk to you in this manner is because you know a lot about what I know. So
yeah,
I can talk to you on your level, but what do you feel you need to do? What do you feel you could do right now that would give you any relief from money? Do you feel it would be paying more attention to it and changing the way you think about it? Or do you feel like putting your attention on something else would be better?
Putting my attention on something else, probably.
Okay. What else could you do that would take your attention off of it long enough that you're not focused on it on a daily basis?
Oh, no, I'm still going to be thinking about it on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't be so prominent. Because remember, you said you wanted more babysitting hours. That would only give you more time to think about it, don't you think?
I don't know, you broke up, so I didn't catch the full thought you had there.
Babysitting, you said you want more babysitting hours. That would give you more time, which would give you more time to think about money. So you think that would be almost an issue for you as of right now?
Or it would give me more time to do more things to get me closer to the money.
Okay, so say 2 months down the road, let's just play for a minute. 2 months down the road, you've got you've got your babysitter watching Rowan more hours, and the money thing has not come into place yet, but you've got more time. Do you feel like you would feel worse at that point?
No.
You don't? More hours to think about it? You don't think it would be a bigger issue?
No.
Okay, so what can you do today or starting now that could change the way, that could give you something to do besides think about money? What's something you need to do or something you want to do?
I could take on some more projects. I've been looking at container gardening because, we're buying a house, and we're supposed to be closing like this week. Well, the closing date got pushed to like next month. So it's going to be like June before we get to move in, which is insane. So I was waiting on planting my garden until we moved over there, but now I can't do that. So I'm thinking about making a container garden. So I've been researching how to do that and stuff. So I can just, that makes it portable. So I guess I could just like focus on that. And then the Renaissance Fair is coming up. I've kind of been doing this already, if you haven't noticed. Because I was texting you about the Renaissance Fair earlier. I'm trying to find some a costume for Rowan, and then for Blake as well. And so I'm just trying my best to focus on things, get my mind off of everything.
What's
So,
something else that you've maybe thought you could do or thought about doing? You feel
say
like
again?
projects would take enough of your time, like the container garden?
Yeah, I don't have any spare time as is. So anything else everything else I put in there is gonna crunch it even more.
Okay. So you're thinking about money even when you're doing other things.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
always. It's always on the side of my mind, dude. I'm telling you, like it's always right there. It just sits there.
So is there anything you ever do that you're not thinking about it?
Yoga and running. So
How,
when I'm exercising, but that's it.
how often do you do that?
Every day
Do you meditate still?
when I can. I try to do that with the yoga.
Um, remember how we had talked about that, and last time you kind of got some ideas after you woke up, or, you know, something came to you when you woke up. Have you tried doing that? Maybe trying it again, releasing it to the universe when you go to sleep, or, whatever way that you want to do it, because we've talked about those methods before. Have you tried doing that and seeing what comes to you when you're not thinking about it, or when you're in meditation or yoga?
I haven't, but I'm gonna put it in my calendar for when to like remind me when I go to bed to do that. How's that sound?
All I can ask, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were trying to shift the way you feel about it. The last thing you really said was, it's just out of my reach, but I'm going to grab it.
You're breaking up again.
Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay. You said it's just out of my reach, but I'm going to grab it.
Yeah.
Okay, what would give you some relief from that? We'll go back to kind of working through the emotional aspect of it.
Like words wise or stuff that happens.
Word wise, the emotion will come with it. Kind of moving the block around. When you get into that mental aspect, if you're talking to yourself about money,
Right.
moving that so that you can kind of feel some relief from it and kind of leave it at that point, so that it's not such a big, hairy, scary deal at the moment.
I'll grab it when I'm supposed to.
Does that feel like relief?
It does.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Or I'll grab it when I need it.
Okay. Is there any more relief from that? So what's the next way you can move it? I'll grab it when I need it.
I feel like my eye twitched really bad when I said that. So I'm thinking that like because I'll never really need it, will I? Because I don't need it. I don't like struggle or anything at all. And I'll never be in a situation where I struggle as long as I have any control over it, and I do. So
So do you not think it's maybe a money block? Do you think there's something else going on? Maybe do you have a feeling of not being in control of the situation? Because if you don't need it, you just want it. So what does that really feel like to you?
I don't know. Like there's all these things that I want, but I have to wait. And I don't want to wait. And there's all these things I want to do, but I have to wait.
Why do you have to wait?
Because it's not intelligent to go buy a $500,000 house that you could only pay off on your salary if you signed a loan contract for like 100 years.
Have you tried vision boards?
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. Do you know who what's his name? John Asseroff is?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, have you heard the story about his vision board? Yeah, about how he look at that. Okay, well, for our viewers who, if anybody's watching this and they haven't heard this story, John Asseroff is all about some mindsets and some manifesting stuff also, which of course is why I follow him. And he makes vision boards every year, and he keeps them in boxes. And they moved into a new house, and they were moving the box with his vision boards in it. And his son was like, "Daddy, what's in this box?" And he was like, "Oh, those are my vision boards." And he said, "Well, can I see?" And he was like, "Sure." You know, and he was showing him about his vision boards and what they are, and explaining to him what they are. And he looked at one of his vision boards, and a picture on it was the exact house that they were standing in. He had bought his dream house, that he had pinned a picture from a magazine of his house that he lives in now, like years ago, on his vision board, and then forgotten about it. And so, yeah, the power of vision boards. And he didn't even realize it because the picture was of the back of the house, and he'd only ever really thought about it from the front view. And so he didn't even realize that he had bought his dream house that he had pinned on his vision board years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I do the same thing. Okay, so since obviously you're not going to go out and buy a $500,000 house, make a vision board. Put your $500,000 house on there. Sorry. I forgot to turn my phone down.
That's okay.
Yeah, if this had been an actual, somebody I didn't know, obviously, it would be a little bit different. Because this kind of turned into a coaching session rather than just hypnotherapy. So.
Don't it always with me, though?
It is. It's because you're a coach, so we always end up on that same mind level. So I counsel, and see, this is when I have struggles. I have like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla on there. I have Buddha. I have Jesus. And of course, I've got little things on there like Confucius and, pretty much the greatest minds of their times.
Yeah.
And I consult and have my time and my meditation time and get in that place of infinite knowledge to help me with my blocks.
I'm going to do that. I'm gonna make some vision boards.
Yeah, because I know that's right up your alley. So, and I know that'll help you, and it will take your mind off of it because you'll be thinking about where you want to go, but in a happy place because you're creating all of these things for yourself. So I know that would help get your mind off of it. But not in the bad way, in a good way, because you'll be able to find the emotional feeling place of it rather than the lack thereof. So
I feel 100%. It's because it's how do I explain it? It's I'm doing it and I'm having it even if I don't have it or can't do it.
Yeah. Well, you're living it without having to have the physical manifestation of it. So you're enjoying the feeling of it, which is all you need to do. And because you know so much about law of attraction like I do. So being able to find the feeling place is all you need to do. Same thing with money, and that will help you with money. Make a vision board of a successful business, what your coaching business would look like to you if you were $1 million coach, $1 billion coach, whatever your goal is, make that vision board, but enjoy doing it. Enjoy what that would look like. So that way the feeling is attached to the paper, the board. So every time you look at it, you can kind of shift the feeling of the lack of money to what you want it to look like. You'll be able to switch that and of course, I know this is more along the lines of coaching, so fine line on the border there, but
That's why they go together.
yeah. So just make your vision board, because I know you like doing stuff like that, and it's much easier because you seem to have a hard time shifting the feeling of it because it's such a strong thing. So yeah, I think definitely taking your attention off of it might be the best thing at this point. Normally, I wouldn't recommend that to clients, but Savannah, you're really good at working through mental blocks on some aspects. So I know this is a struggle for you. So
yeah, I have a couple of points I want to address with you. For one, a vision board is one of the basics. When you start doing things like this, it's like a vision board. Duh. Come on, dude. Do you even want to succeed? You don't have a vision board? Like, what are you doing? But, you know, and I knew this the whole time, but at the same time, knowing and not doing is not knowing. So, you know, why haven't I done it? And but I have this thing about like clutter, and I don't like it. And a vision board is like, it's great and all, but you know, that's like I'm gonna have to find a place to put that thing down. And I'm, you know, but I'm gonna totally do that now. I for real am. And now I'm kind of upset with myself that I haven't done it yet.
Do that.
I know. I'm really excited to get off the phone, and because we got to go to Walmart here in a minute anyway. So I'm gonna get me like some poster board or something, or some ink. I'm thinking, because the specific things that I need to go on my vision board is gonna be hard to find, like a magazine that has this and then a magazine that has this, and that sounds like a lot of money when I can just print the stuff off the internet to put on them.
Print it.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Also, oh crap! I had another point real quick I was gonna tell you, and now I don't remember what it was. Oh no.
A vision board and
Yeah, there was something else. I don't remember what it is now. That makes me sad. It was like an exciting point, and now I don't remember what it was at all. No, I do. I just remembered. Okay, so I was telling you yesterday about that website, that app, Cora, that I've been on and stuff. Okay, well, I was on there this morning answering questions, and there was a question that said, what have you manifested in your life using the law of attraction? Okay, which got me super excited, right? I was like, yes, let me answer this question. And it made me realize that I was really good at manifesting stuff until I became aware of the fact that I was manifesting stuff. And then I learned how to do it and like the techniques. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been doing this the whole time. But now I'm putting so much thought into it, it's slowed down.
what kind of thought are you putting into it though?
Too much, like being precise and using the techniques to do it, whereas before I was just doing it without realizing I was doing it. But I think now that I've realized that I've been putting too much thought into it, and that I need to get back into how I was before I realized that I was doing it. Because when I realized I was doing it and realized what it was, I got super excited, and I was like, wow, I've been doing this the whole time. Let me figure out what it was that I was doing so I can do it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Go general. Instead of being so specific, go general. Around especially money. I'm sure that you're kind of referencing to a lot of other things, but go general. So when it comes to money, I don't have to worry about that right now. I don't need to focus on that right now. I don't have to worry about it. It will come. It will come when I let it go.
You're right.
To let it go. And I know that's hard to do, so focus on something else.
No, that's exactly what I was doing. That's what I realized I was doing before I realized what I was doing. Because, like, before I realized what the law of attraction was and what manifesting was and everything, I was just not worrying about stuff. I wasn't worried about one way or another. Like, I knew what I wanted to happen, and I knew that I would, probably eventually get there, but I really wasn't putting too much thought into it. Like, about how I was going to do it or what I like a plan and stuff. Like, I had whatever, and things just like fell in my lap all the time. Like, um, like pretty much any contest I entered, I won. Uh, I, I, I won awards accidentally or with minimum effort. Somebody gave me a vehicle the day after I totaled mine. I totaled that one too, but then I got another one, just kind of given to me after that. Somebody gave me a place to live for almost no money. And then a year later, someone gave me a house. And I mean, I wasn't worried about any of this stuff. I was just kind of like, look at that. That happened. Oh, thanks.
There was no contradictory thought in it. There was no it was an expectation, but yet there was no expectation. Therefore, you had no disallowance. It was the least, it was your path of least resistance for everything. It just came, so you didn't have to put any thought into it. Well, now you're putting so much thought into it, it slowing it down. It's not stopping it, it's slowing it down. So
I'm overthinking stuff.
Yeah, well, at this point, you don't expect someone to give you money or any of that stuff. So just change it and go back to, I don't have to worry about it right now. I don't have to worry about it. I'm taken care of. I'm fine. My husband will figure himself out. That's not my job. I love him and I will keep loving him. And I will hold him in that space so that I don't have to worry about it because I know he will figure it out. I know he's okay. I know he will do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. It's not my job. So I'm just going to know that that's okay. Everything there's okay. And I don't have to worry about it right now. So anytime you get frustrated about money, I don't have to worry about it right now. And try to think about or do something else that would get your attention. But I think when we go through a session, because this is not normally how long intakes last for people who may be watching or anybody who is watching it at this point. Intakes don't normally take this long. This is more coaching, obviously. But when we do get to the actual session, since we're going to do them on separate days, I think we're going to work around trying to resolve these blocks on a subconscious level, obviously, since you've been working with me throughout this process, so you know so much about it. I definitely think being able to get to the root of your blocks is probably going to be a lot easier once we start working on the deeper levels of where it's all implanted. So we'll definitely work on that. We'll get to the blocks. I think there's more around it than obviously just money. There's a lot of conditions that are creating the money feel around it. So we'll definitely work on that the next time we get together. So I'll set up a date with you whenever we get to that, and whenever you have some time, and we'll do it then. And then we'll talk about it afterwards and see, because there might even be a shift, just giving yourself something else to do. Even the vision board might be enough to just shift it so that it's not such a big, hairy, scary deal. So, awesome. If you need anything in between then, obviously, you know where I am and how to contact me. So.
Yeah, tell other folks how to find you.
Oh, I have a website, cphypnosisworks.com, or my work phone, 256-652-2845. Again, obviously, this session is completely different than how I work with clients for the most part because, one, confidentiality is everything. This is definitely not confidential. All Savannah, but I was happy to work with you on this, and intakes definitely don't take this long. So this is just the intake. This is not an actual hypnotherapy session. As far as, leading you into what would usually go next, that's going to be separate for you today. Because it's a little bit more personal once we get into that. So definitely. But it was fun, more coaching with you, Savannah.
Yeah, and I'll probably change the name to this from hypnotherapy intake to like coaching session or something. I don't know. I'll figure something out.
Well, and usually our exercises, since we usually go straight into the hypnosis exercises, usually we don't talk this long until after the session, and that's usually where a lot of your breakthroughs come through because you're not thinking so much about it consciously. So I think that'll make all the difference once we actually get into a session. So less coaching next time.
Yeah, good luck. That's kind of like me and your natural progression to things.
Yeah, well, and usually when you're not putting so much thought into it, thankfully through hypnosis, we don't really you don't have to worry about it so much, and usually that's where everything works for you. So uh, definitely, I think that'll be a much bigger breakthrough around money and where that comes from. So definitely, you go enjoy Walmart. Tell your husband I said hey, and tell Rowan hey.
Oh well.
All
Thank
right,
you.
I'll chat with you later.
All right, bye.